Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the 1/32nd scale B-17 build/review. This is inclusive model designs. What we're going to do here today is we're going to go through what you can add to the model. If you're doing a diorama or in flight, it's up to you. So let's take a look at what aftermarket kits are available that you could put onto these two kits. This is not all of them, but this is just some of the ones I bought. Here's a couple figures that you can put if you're doing a diorama on the outside. These ones are already built and painted. Here's a little ground crew worker. The camera might not pick up that too well, but you can see there's ranks on the side that I put on. I'll show you how I did that. And here's another crewman with a coffee cup, looking up at something. Don't know yet. He'll look at something. And here's a pilot figure, and you can see that he's got a Time magazine in his hand. I'll show you how we did that. Alright, we'll work left to right here. Here's a Willys Jeep by Tamiya. It's 1/35th scale, but 1/32nd and 1/35th scales are pretty close, and if you put this, you know, beside the B-17 or a little bit away from it, it should blend in fairly well, but if not, then that's fine. Other kits that I found online, fire extinguishers, things like that. Some of the fire extinguishers were molded right onto the bulkheads of the B-17 models, so, and some aren't. But if you wanted to shave that down and actually put one of these in there, it would give a more of a 3D effect. Here's some resin machine guns from Brazen. Don't know if I'm going to use those yet because I have some metal ones, but they're there anyway if I want them. Some of the superchargers by Brazen as well, very well detailed. So we'll have to take a look as the build goes. What we'll do is we'll compare the model kit versions off the sprue to the resin ones and see which ones will work better. Other things you can get, again, this is just 1/32nd scale ammo belts. So you can cut that out, put it on the ground, or look like they're loading the magazines, whichever. I mean, it's there if you need it. If you don't, you don't. These I really plan to use. This will definitely give that 3D effect for your gun barrels. You just chop off the plastic bit and add these into the gun mount, just like a barrel would fit into a gun. So these go inside of the coolers. So we'll see. We'll give those a look. And here's some life vests in 1/32nd scale. So you just got to trim off the excess and throw these on the ground. Look like the crew's just been, you know, they tossed out some of their gear or getting the gear ready to go. Just another additive that's not available in the kit. Here's some duckling that I found on eBay. Verlinden Productions, I guess, made these. And there's the ranks. And then obviously some insignia. So it's not just for the B-17. You can do tanks, you can, you know, tankers, you know, whichever. But yeah, I mean, just pick a rank, throw it on the shoulder, and then it just adds more to the model. You could paint them in, but, you know, these are fun to do. Other things I bought online are parachutes. 1/32nd World War II Aircrew Parachutes. You know, you get rid of the resin excess there and you put it on the ground. You know, it looks like, you know, a crew member put it on the ground. You know, you can do whatever you want with them. It just adds more detail to your diorama if you're doing a diorama. Yeah, just different shapes. And then these, of course, the photo etched. The fabric, I've used these before. They're very nice. I actually like them. You can kind of bend them, crumple them, do whatever you want to them, and it looks like just like a seat belt. And these are for the pilot seats. I bought two because the radio operator has a very similar seat. So I thought I'd buy two, and then I have extras as well. But then you can actually put this on the radio operator's seat as well. As you can see, about two of them there. And extras. Here's the metal landing gear. I will be using these because I imagine this model would be pretty heavy. So I'm definitely going to be using the metal landing gear. Here's some British infantry troops. Not going to really use the troops, obviously, but the bikes, because in World War II, well, everybody used a bike in World War II if you wanted to get anywhere. So when the guys got over there, the first thing they did was pretty much buy a bike. So we'll be more likely using the bikes in the diorama, just having a leaning against something or picnic table that I'll make or whichever. Again, just adds to the detail. And this one was made by Tamiya. And then, you know, if I'm ever doing another model later with paratroopers or something, then I'll just add them in. Why not? Another thing I found is this, you can see the pilot here as a magazine, is there's somebody on eBay, right here. He makes these 1/32nd scale, or was it 1/35th scale, so they're a bit smaller, but that's fine. All these old ads, newspaper covers, pin-up girls, things like that. I mean, this would be perfect for a display, especially in World War II planes. You know, they stuck pictures of girls up and stuff, and magazine covers. What I did is, because they're really hard to, you can't really see the dates on them, I just went onto not YouTube, but Google, and looked for a magazine cover that matched, and checked the date to make sure, you know, I wasn't putting on a 1940s magazine cover with a 1930 plane or whichever, you know what I mean. But anyway, that's great. I mean, you know, I just folded it up, put it in his hand. Probably won't pick it up too well. But there you go. I mean, you know, he's holding a Life magazine because I guess, you know, he's a board pilot or whatever. You know, sometimes these guys got delayed and they just wanted a magazine or something. But he also makes maps. You know, this would be great to put on the navigator's table. You know, or have a navigator holding it, or wherever you want it. I mean, it's just great. Yeah. I really like that idea. It really adds to the model. Even cigarette packs. You know, there's some Lucky Strikes there. You know, just get a little tiny piece of styrene plastic, stick this on, or glue it on. This is not a decal. These aren't. The ranks were decals, but this is just paper. But yeah, you got yourself a pack of cigarettes laying around somewhere, or a carton, depends on how much you smoke. But anyway, that's, you know, really cool idea for that. And for some of the aftermarket decals that you can purchase, I know in the first review I showed you the knockout dropper. See, this I believe this is the more accurate version. With the B-17F kit, it came with the decals, but you only had the choice of I believe that style insignia, as where this doesn't come with the insignia. This only comes with the decals for the plane itself. But I did buy them too, because I'm still not too sure on what version of the plane I'm going to do. If I'm going to do the Memphis Belle movie version, then I'm going to use that nose windscreen or bubble for this plane and make it like the movie version. But again, you know, buying a bunch of different decals, you know, here we go, like that one there. I know it's for the G, but I mean, you can always mix and match this and throw it on this and make your own plane with your own serial number, that kind of thing, if you're going to go that route. So very good aftermarket decals. I mean, very happy. Of course, I bought these when I bought the G, because the G kit I found didn't come with, you know, the best of decals. I mean, the decals themselves are nice, but they're very boring. So, you know, I just did my own thing, obviously, there. And then, of course, the Edwards sets. Now, of course, these can be quite pricey. Sorry for the shakiness. So you got, the kits do come with some of these photo etched, but not very many. So we have like some of the exterior pieces, obviously pieces that go into the ball turret and things like that, just to add to. The undercarriage. Not too sure if I'm going to use a lot of the undercarriage stuff, because you know, you never see it. So I might just use one or two, you know, we'll see. These will definitely come in handy. These are the placards. And a really nice instruction book that come with it, where to put them. So obviously this is in the cockpit and stuff like that. This will really add to the detail. And they're already I wish I could focus. You know, they're beautiful, and they have a little bit of a raised edge to them too. So, you know, that will come in really handy if you want that almost 3D look. You will have to shave off, you know, detail pieces off the model itself, but, you know, and stick these on. There we go. Hopefully that made sense. You know, waist gun section, you know, pieces that you just fold and stick in place of the model kit off the sprue pieces. And as we build, I'll show you how I did it and which ones I chose. You see, here's the radio room, and here's what you get with the Edward set. See, these here would just stick onto the seat, but if you bought this set, you know, you actually have a cushion that you could, and this does come with the decals for that, for the seat there, the U.S. Air Corps, or Corps, I should say. Anyway, so, you know, these would obviously be better than those, because that's just a sticker. But then, obviously, you'd have the nice radio equipment stick on there. With it, again, it's a little bit raised, almost like a braille feel to it. So, again, as we build it, you know, I'll show you how I did it. Okay, and the front, see, this is the B-17G version. This is the navigator stuff. So they got the tools here for mapping and stuff. So this will be put on, and then obviously some of the other parts that were meant for the G will not, because I am doing the F version. So these will definitely come in handy. See this right here, you put over top one of these little maps that I showed you, the decals. You know, put that instrument over that instrument here over top. Really look neat. And here's some of the cockpit instruments. Now, the F does come with 3 different instrument panels, and it's for the different versions, obviously, because the E would have, you know, different instruments than the F, and then the G, I mean, they added or took away, I'm not too sure. But of course they would change, because as the plane, you know, progressed, more things would be added onto the plane. Okay, and here we have the flexible masks. This was for the G, so but I mean, this would work pretty much on all of the plane except for the Cheyenne turret area where the Stinger turret was on the F. So you might have to work with that, but you know, these are there. I mean, these are obviously, this review is good for the G model as well, because that's what these were really designed for. And here's some more here. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but it's just really nice to have options. And there's some engine details there. And of course, here's for the landing flaps. Not too sure if I'll use them. I might even just, whatever I don't use on here, I might just put up for sale. And someone else can have a crack with them. Even extra pieces and parts and stuff, I'll definitely swap. You know, whatever I don't use, that kind of thing. I don't mind doing that one bit. But that's pretty much it for this video. You'll see a lot more of this as I build. But this just kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. Like the Jeep and stuff, that's cool. If you can find a 1/32 one, I've seen them in die cast, but I kind of like to build things myself. So we'll see. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. I know there's a set out there with the Memphis Belle Crew sitting on a Jeep. It's a little bit pricey. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll try that. Because I do have a B-17, or sorry, B-25 kit with these guys. But I found them, you know, really tall. I mean, even though it says 1/32, sometimes it could be, you know, just because they're aftermarket, they're a little out of scale. I found these guys here to be more in scale. These are very nice. And I do have a B-25 1/32 kit. I might use these, you know, as intended. Yeah, and having them walk towards the plane, then you won't really see, you know, the scale difference. But for the B-17 being this, you know, the size of this kit is huge. I found that these fit a lot better, at least to go around the plane. And I kind of stuck them in the nose, things like that. As where these guys would be like giants. You know, they stand. Actually, I can just quickly open it up. Why not? They're still in plastic, but you can see they stand. There's a good size comparison right there. I mean, they're not huge, but I mean, that's like, like a linebacker coming at this little kid, almost by comparison. So I like the smaller ones a little bit better anyway. But these are very nice. But maybe we can do a review on those later. But that's why I opted not to use those. So there we go. So hopefully this helps, and stay tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please, and if you're building this, please leave a comment. Maybe I'll set up a Facebook page that's dedicated to, I mean, I'm sure they exist, but maybe we'll do our own, dedicated to building this model or models, and see what works for people, and go from there. So thank you very much for watching this video, and stand by for some of the builds. Oh, I guess I should add, I don't just do planes. Like, I do sci-fi, you name it, I build it, and stuff like that will come out over time. Right now I'm just finishing up on a 1/7 scale Millennium Falcon that I've lit and mounted on the side of an asteroid. So, that'll take some time, but stand by. I mean, you're going to see a lot of models, past and future. Also a website that I'm working on coming up, where you'll see all my work from the past, on my history, things like that. And yeah, I usually put all my work up for sale. I don't have the room to store it, so yeah, my work has taken me, all over North America. I've met many actors. I've even sold some of my pieces around the world to museums, things like that. So, stand by and let's have some fun with this. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.